Spielberg just made his Close Encounters for 2026, and the ending is going to break people's brains for months. Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth. 79 years of alien cover-up gets blown open on live television, and the film ends on a single word that the director refuses to explain. So let's get into it. This is the full ending of Disclosure Day, explained. 2 leads. First is Margaret Fairchild, Emily Blunt, playing a local Kansas City meteorologist who gets her brain hijacked by an extraterrestrial signal, triggered by a cardinal flying into her apartment, which is a sentence I typed with complete seriousness. She involuntarily starts broadcasting alien transmissions on live TV, gains the ability to speak fluent Russian, Korean, and a clicking alien language she has no business knowing, and slowly develops full telepathic abilities. She's the emotional conduit, the human receiver. Second is Daniel Kellner, Josh O'Connor doing a full Julian Assange arc. Former employee of a defense contractor called Wardex, stole 79 years of classified alien contact footage on a cache of hard drives, currently on the run. His brain was neurologically rewired during a childhood abduction, so he can decode alien mathematical language in real time. He's the logical counterpart to Margaret's emotional piece. The aliens, it turns out, need both. Supporting cast worth knowing before we get to the ending. Hugo Wakefield, played by Coleman Domingo, is a former Wardex defector running a shadow truth movement. Spielberg apparently told Coleman to play him as the closest thing the film has to a director's self-insert, which is a choice. And Jane, played by Eve Hewson, Daniel's girlfriend, ex-nun. Her whole arc pokes at the theological disruption of suddenly realizing humanity is not the center of divine creation, which the film does not resolve neatly. The villain is Colin Firth as Noah Scanlon, head of Wardex. And wait, actually this is important, Scanlon is not a cartoonish bad guy. He genuinely believes that humanity cannot handle the truth. That's his whole deal. Decades of suppressing alien contact, not because of greed, but because he thinks releasing it would collapse civilization. That's a thesis the movie spends its entire runtime arguing against. Okay, so the final act kicks off with Margaret and Daniel seizing a Kansas City television studio. Full takeover. Daniel gets the Wardex footage, 79 years of it, crash sites, first contact documentation, the whole archive going back to the 1947 Roswell incident onto the broadcast servers, going live, globally. Wardex finds out. Scanlon's people cut the entire power grid to the station. Transmission dies. That's their move, brute force the signal off. And then Jane shows up. She's been carrying a stolen alien device this whole time. There are 3 of these things in the film. One with Wardex, one with Hugo, one that Jane managed to grab, and Margaret channels it to bring the station's signal back. The broadcast restores, goes global again. Scanlon, rather than doing anything dramatic, just pulls up a chair and watches. His life's work, the cover-up he's maintained for decades, collapses in real time on a TV screen in front of him. Colin Firth playing bureaucratic defeat might be the most haunting thing in the movie. Okay, this is the part where it gets strange. Like, stranger than it already was. Hugo Wakefield's resistance group wheels a living alien onto the broadcast stage. They've been keeping it. This creature, designated in Vivo 17, is significantly taller than any human in that room. And it's not a little gray guy, it's not a xenomorph. It looks like something that has, genuinely, a perspective. In Vivo 17 leans toward Daniel specifically and delivers a rapid sequence of clicks and 8-bit binary tones directly into his ear. Here's why Daniel can process this when nobody else can. The childhood abduction rewired his brain neurologically. Where any other person hears noise, Daniel hears math. He decodes the alien's message instantly, relays the translation to Margaret. And because of Margaret's telepathic thing, she doesn't just receive information, she feels it emotionally. The logic hits Daniel. The meaning hits Margaret. She walks back to the camera. Live, global audience. She looks into the lens and says, "The truth belongs to you. This is Disclosure Day. One final word to the world. Listen." Hard cut to black. Spielberg doesn't tell you. That's deliberate. The alien's full message is permanently withheld from the audience. Josh O'Connor, in interviews, confirmed he knows the exact translation and said, and I'm quoting, "Yes, but I'm not going to share it," which is genuinely the most troll move in a press cycle this year. Respect. But the film has been quietly building toward the answer the whole time. First, the nuclear war context. The world in Disclosure Day is at DEFCON 2 through the entire runtime. That means nuclear launch is imminent, not theoretical. World War III is the background hum of every single scene. Margaret's earlier involuntary broadcast back when she was first getting hijacked and had no control over what she was transmitting carried one phrase she couldn't explain. Don't be afraid of what you don't know. That was alien origin. That was the first message leaking through before they could focus the signal. Second, Hugo's explanation midway through the film. He tells Daniel that the aliens believe empathy is the foremost evolutionary advantage any species can develop, and that civilizations which reject it don't survive long enough to matter. That's not a feel-good philosophy when you're watching it in the context of a planet at DEFCON 2. That's a clinical observation about why humanity is about to go extinct. So connect the dots. The binary was math. The math decoded into a logical sequence. Daniel understood it cerebrally. Margaret felt it, and she translated it not literally, but emotionally as one instruction for a world on the edge of destroying itself. Listen, stop. You are about to make the last mistake a species can make. You are capable of empathy. Use it. Listen. Scanlon doesn't get arrested. He doesn't get a dramatic confrontation. He doesn't get vaporized. He just sits in that chair and watches, and that's actually the point. His worldview that the truth would shatter civilization is proven wrong in real time. The broadcast lands, and yes, people freak out, there's shock, there's confusion, there's genuine global panic. But civilization doesn't end. People start questioning old assumptions, reaching for common ground, looking at each other differently. The film is arguing that Scanlon was always the real existential threat, not the aliens. Secrecy, institutional control, the monopoly on truth, that's what had humanity barreling toward nuclear war. The disclosure doesn't cause the apocalypse. It might be the only thing that stops it. His worldview collapses. Not because someone defeats him, because reality defeats him. And in a Spielberg movie that's more devastating than any fight scene. Spielberg and Cope have openly called this a spiritual bookend to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Which, yeah, you can feel it. Close Encounters came out in 1977, post-Watergate, post-Vietnam. The cultural anxiety was, is the government lying to us? The aliens in that film are benevolent and musical, and the whole thing is about wonder and the desperate human search for something cosmic and true. E.T. in 1982 was the same director, but softer, suburban, emotional, childhood innocence as a lens. Pure empathy story. Disclosure Day in 2026 doesn't ask if the government is lying. It assumes you already know it is. The cultural anxiety now is different. It's about misinformation, institutional collapse, global conflict, the weaponization of truth itself. The question isn't discovery anymore, it's integration. What do we do with what we already know or suspect? 3 films, 50 years, the same director recalibrating his understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos across his entire career. That's kind of insane when you sit with it. The ending is structured to allow a sequel, deliberately. The alien's full message is unrevealed. The world just got its reality restructured overnight. The nuclear situation is unresolved, and Vivo 17 is still out there. Whether Spielberg actually makes it is another thing entirely. He's 79, and this is listed as his 37th feature. But the door is absolutely open. The film ends at the moment of maximum uncertainty. The world has just been told. What happens the day after Disclosure Day? That's a completely different movie. And honestly, Spielberg leaving that entirely in your imagination might be the smartest ending he's written in years. That's the full breakdown. If you've already seen it, drop your theory on what the alien actually said to Daniel in the comments, because O'Connor is staying tight-lipped and we're doing the work ourselves. Like the video if this helped, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next.